and MIMs. And he's also a guest speaker at some of the international institutes like Boston, MIT Boston, Dresden University, WITS in Johannesburg, and many multinational corporates such as Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Samsung. He's also the president of ISKCON Goa. And more relevant to us for our youth session, he is actually the author of at least 60 books, Prabhu. And the most favorite, of course, the most popular is his Ramayana series. He's expert in all the topics related to Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Srimad Bhagavatam. And we can go on and on glorifying the effective essence of his books. It touches hearts from all, children, age people, and also for my father, when he started to read his books, he was so enchanted by all his books. So he covers a lot of age groups with his wonderful books. And we would like to welcome you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for taking this time for the ISV Youth Jam audience. And today, Prabhu will be talking on dealing with distractions and finding focus. Let's welcome him with a very big Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Pasandubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all of you all to this session. So, I am primarily going to be addressing youth, and those who are not exactly youth can hopefully figure out how it is relevant to you all. And hopefully it will be useful to you all too. Can the younger people come a little ahead, please, so I can see my target audience better? So I'm going to be speaking on dealing with distractions and finding focus. How many of you all here find your mind very distracted all the time? Put up your hand, please. Okay, that's good. So it's a very relevant topic, isn't it? The biggest cause of all your distraction is here, right in your pocket. Now, unfortunately, you can't do away with it anymore. We can call it useless, we can call it whatever we want, but it's a part of our lives. We have to use it, but we should learn how to not to be used by it. So, what I'm going to be sharing with you all today is many things that I have been doing in my personal life that has helped me. Dealing with distractions and finding focus. When you want to achieve anything in life, it is important that your mind is very intensely focused on it. The Mahabharata, there is this very amazing story which I'll begin with, where Dronacharya, the guru of the Pandavas and the Kauravas, he calls together all his disciples for a test. And he keeps a wooden bird on top of a tree. And he asks all his disciples one by one to come and aim at the eye of this bird. And before they actually shoot the arrow, Dronacharya stops them and asks them, what can you see? So he first asked Duryodhan to come. And he asked him, what do you see? Duryodhan said, I see the bird, I see the eye of the bird, I see the tree behind it, I see the sky behind it. He wanted everything so he could see also everything, basically. So Dronacharya said, don't shoot, just keep the bow and go. Then he called Bhima and he said, you aim at the eye of the bird. So Bhima took an aim and he asked him, what do you see? He said, I see the eye of the bird, I see the bird, and I see many mangoes hanging around the bird. And he loved to eat. So he could see, fruits quite a lot. So everyone he was calling and he was asking them, what do you see? And different people were saying different things. And then finally he called Arjun and he asked him, what do you see? He said, I see the eye of the bird. So Dronacharya asked him, what else do you see? He said, I don't see anything else. I can only see the eye of the bird. And Dronacharya said, you don't need to shoot. I know the result. Because he couldn't see anything else. He was not distracted by anything else at all. Obviously now, we are not Arjun. Right? So our minds are all over the place. We probably can see like Duryodhan, everything we can see, So the question is, how do I sharpen my focus so that I can see only what I want to see? Focus is a choice. And focus is a matter of practice. So when you decide to become focused on anything, first of all, you have to choose that I want to focus. If you don't want to focus, nobody can help you focus. It is not possible only that people can help you focus. You have to choose to focus. Your parents can put you in front of the table and in front of the book, but they cannot make you study. I'm sure all of you all have had that experience, right? You're forced to be sitting in front of your books. But can anyone force your mind to focus? It's not possible only, isn't it? So unless you want to do it, it won't happen. Just like you've seen a magnifying glass. If you've seen a magnifying glass, and if you just aim the ray of a sun through the magnifying glass, and it exactly focuses on one place, what happens? It can burn, isn't it? I'm sure all of you have tried, right? Burning different things. There was in history, Archimedes burnt his enemy ships using this principle. Using the sun rays and a huge magnifying glass, he burnt the ships of his enemies. That's how powerful when one ray of the sun gets focused through one magnifying glass is. So if your mind can focus on one thing for even a short duration of time, you can achieve wonders. The most successful people in this world are those people who can focus. And all the people who are unsuccessful are simply people who don't focus. As simple as that. So, if you want to be successful in your life, if you really want to achieve something substantial in your life, you have to learn to focus on one thing at a time. You can't focus on 100 things. Multitasking is nice as a word to hear, but when you actually do things, you focus on one thing at a time. Whatever duration of time it is, if it is 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever duration of time it is, you learn to focus for that duration of time. And for you to focus for that duration of time, you have to keep aside all distractions. Krishna gives a 2-point formula how to focus in the Bhagavad Gita. He tells Arjun, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagya cha grahiyate. He says there are two things you need to do to really be able to achieve focus, 100% focus. One is abhyasa. Abhyas means what? Practice. You have to keep practicing to achieve complete focus. And second is vairagya, which means detachment. I'll tell you what vairagya is later. Let me focus first on practice. Okay? What is the meaning of practice? Practice simply means when your mind goes away, pull it back and focus on that thing. Your mind will go away. 100% it will go away. If you're studying, your mind will think about playing. When you're playing, your mind will think about studying. And when you're neither studying nor playing, your mind will be worrying about, my friends are playing, I'm not getting to play. My friends are studying, I'm not studying, what will happen to me? So the nature of the mind is to always be worried and always have some reason to lose focus. But you have to learn to practice pulling the mind back again and again and again and again. There is no other way to success other than practice, pulling the mind back. When the Pandavas were staying in the Gurukul of Dronacharya, one day Arjun was sleeping in the middle of the night. And as he was sleeping, way into midnight, he heard a sound, some weird sound in the middle of the night. And he was very alert. He got up and he started walking towards the direction from which the sound was coming. And when he walked towards the place where the sound, he realized it is coming from the kitchen. And he walked in. It was pitch dark. But he could hear somebody eating. He turned on the lights and he saw Bhima sitting there eating laddus. Arjuna was shocked. He said, "What are you doing in the middle of the night eating laddus here?" Bhima said, "I felt hungry. And I knew where the laddus were, so I came and I'm eating." So Arjun said, "Why didn't you turn on the lights? At least eat in the light." Bhima said, "Why do I need to turn on the light? I know where the laddus are. I know where my mouth is. So I don't need lights." Arjun was amazed by the answer. And suddenly it helped Arjun get a very important direction in his own life. He realized, look how focused Bhima is on what he wants in life. He is so focused. In the middle of the night also he is ready to give up his sleep because he loves eating. So he said, if Bhima can be so focused on eating, why can't I be focused on my practice of archery? That day he decided, I'm not going to sleep at night. I'm going to practice archery all night. Because he knew that he has to practice a lot. And Arjun realized, if I have to practice a lot, I need time. And there's only 24 hours, isn't it? So he felt, the day gets over very fast. I'm not able to practice enough. And night I have to sleep. So now he got this new idea that I'm not going to sleep at night also. And from that night onwards, every night he remained awake, practicing archery at night. And then he got this new name called Gudakesha. That means the one who has really conquered his sleep. Now, obviously, I'm not recommending you all not to sleep. And even if I recommend you all, nobody's going to listen to me. You will sleep. But the point that we need to, really think about here and understand here is, look at Arjun's desperation to practice. There's a study, which is a modern study, which says, if you want to be good at something, anything, be music, be dance, be writing, be singing, be it your studies, anything you want to be really a master at, you want to be really good at something, then you have to practice that thing for 10,000 hours. How many hours? 10,000 hours. That's the golden number. Anyone who does one thing for 10,000 hours, that person will become an expert in that. Now you decide, what is that one thing you want to do for 10,000 hours? And I'll tell you, anyone who is expert, you look at any cricket player, you look at any baseball player, you look at any sports person, any musician, any singer, anyone who is super expert in something. You look at some of the best kirtaniyas in ISKCON. You study their careers, you study their lives, you'll realize that all of them have put in that number, 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours roughly takes about 10 years to achieve. If every day you're practicing for a few hours, about 10 years, really dedicated, focused work. After that, you become a pro. You become a master in anything. I'm sure all of you all have something that you want to really focus on, isn't it? Start by remembering this magic number, 10,000. Write it down somewhere on your walls. Whatever you want to practice and want to become super expert at, give 10,000 hours to that. No matter what happens, no matter how sleepy you are, no matter how busy you are, find time for becoming a master at that really important thing for you. Whether it is your studies, any particular subject you want to expertise in, any particular field you want to expertise in, give it that kind of practice. When you give it that kind of practice, you become an expert. And you know what happens when you become an expert? The world opens up to you. I'm sure all of you all have heard of this ace golfer known as Tiger Woods. Heard of him, right? This guy wears a cap, a Nike cap. Just to wear that cap for 1 hour, he gets paid $50,000 to wear a cap. But he doesn't get paid $50,000 to wear a cap. He actually gets paid for his expertise. Because he's such a pro at something, right? So when you become a pro at something, the world opens up to you. The whole world opens up to you. But if you are not a pro at anything, nobody cares for you. Really, nobody will care for you at all. So, in your mind, you should have it that I want to become a pro by the time I reach, say, 20, 21, 22, whatever age you want to aim at. By that number, you have to become pro at least one thing. Okay? Now, this idea of focus is possible only when you understand the second thing that Krishna speaks. So I spoke about two things, Abhyasa and Vairagya. What is the meaning of Vairagya? This is very, very important. The word Vairagya, it technically translates to detachment. But actually, if you really understand what Krishna is trying to say, the word Vairagya means staying away from distractions. Staying away from all those things that prevent you from focusing. That's what the word Vairagya means. Now, I'll just give you some examples to help you understand this. I know many children who have tables in which they study and work on. Super chaotic tables. Dirty. Messed up totally. I go to many people's houses and I see, real mess sometimes. They have not done any sort of cleaning for last 5-10 years at least. And then you sit on that table to study. What do you think you're going to focus on? There are too many things going on there, on that table. What are you going to look at? Your external environment is a direct reflection of your internal environment. If externally you are studying in a dirty environment, it simply means your mind is chaotic, is confused. It's totally unfocused. On the other hand, if you're studying in a clean environment, very, very tidy, organized environment, it means that your mind is organized. So the first thing I want all of you all to do when you go back home today is clean your table where you study. Throw away all those things that you do not use. Whatever you have not touched for last at least couple of years, first throw it away. First round of cleaning. And second round of cleaning, all those things that are not used for the last 2 years, throw it away. See, basically, only keep those things on your table that is absolutely important and useful. Start there. Eventually, you can clean your whole room. At least begin by cleaning the table on which you're studying. And I can assure you, all of you will come back to me and tell me, this really helped. We don't even realize how it is connected to our inability to focus. Right? It's directly connected. So simply by living or studying or focusing in a clean environment, it is so much easier to focus. The second meaning of the word vairagya, or staying away from the wrong environment. If you want to do anything focused, stay away from screens. Today's teenagers, I call them as screenagers. Always in front of some screen. If nothing else, there's a Tesla screen. Practically our life is surrounded by screens, isn't it? Laptops and iPads and phones and so many gadgets. All screens, isn't it? Obviously, we need them. It's not, as I said in the beginning, we can't do without them. But when you're doing focused work, stay away from screens. It can be for a duration of 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. Don't keep any screen around you. You might say, I turn the phone around like that and keep. The phone has a particular type of energy. If it is there, anywhere around you, you are going to reach out to it. It has a particular type of energy. And that is the way in which this device is created. It is created like that. You will want to touch it. It is a very interesting test called phone addiction test. Someday I'll make all of you all go through it. And I can tell you, most people who have phones of any sort are addicted to them, highly addicted to them. So now, obviously, as we can't do without it, but for short durations of time, you have to learn to keep it away. So what I do, which has really helped me, is when I'm trying to do some focused writing, I keep the phone in the next room. Not even in the same room. Next room. So that for that duration of time, I don't see any notifications. I don't see any messages. I don't see any light I don't see any screen. Just keep it in the next room. So if it is not there with you physically, that means it's not going to disturb you. Right? But if it is somewhere around you and it vibrates, that's all. Your focus is gone. We only need one vibration to lose focus. We only need one light turning on to lose focus. We just need one sound to lose focus. That is how delicate our minds are. Till you reach a point where you have control over your mind, you have to deal with distraction in this way. Okay? I would say keep pockets of 25 minutes of focus. 25 minutes, you will only do one thing. Like say take a subject and you're covering one particular chapter. 25 minutes, you will not look at anything else. Just focus on that one subject. Got it? And I'll tell you, your life will change like anything. Just try this. And of course, after 25 minutes, you can take a break. And then you can see your phone and all that. But then again come back and take another 25 minutes of focus time. This is a very, very powerful way you can deal with a lot of your distractions in life. Okay? And the second thing is, when you're studying or when you're doing something very important, tell your parents, tell whoever is there at your home, not to disturb you for that duration of time. Whatever amount of time it is, you tell them, 25 minutes, don't disturb me. And then sit and focus. You will achieve wonders. Okay? Anybody would like to summarize what I said about dealing with distractions and focus? Quickly. What are the two things I spoke about? Cleaning the table, okay? What else?
One Prabhu mentioned practice and detachment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So practice means pulling your mind back and focusing on something, right? How do you practice? You practice by doing the same thing repetitively again and again and again. Your mind goes away, pull it and focus. Again your mind goes away, pull it and focus. Again mind goes away, pull it and focus. That's the practice that is needed. And as I said, 10,000 hours. You do one activity for 10,000 hours, you'll become expert at it. Find that one activity what you want to become expert in and invest 10,000 hours of practice in it. Okay? All of y'all want to find that one thing that you want to really focus on for 10,000 hours. Any of y'all would like to share what is that one thing you want to focus on for 10,000 hours? Anybody? Yes.
Hearing the holy name while chanting.
Hearing the holy names. Okay. Any of the children, what you would like to focus on for 10,000 hours? Yeah? You saying something? Yeah, please. I want all of you all to speak. Say whatever you want. You can say, I want to focus on nothing also. You know.
I was going to say math.
Math. Okay. Very good. If you focus on math for 10,000 hours, you are going to become a PhD in mathematics. For sure. Yes. Yes. Give him the mic. Yes. Yeah, it's on. It's on.
Making prasadam for the devotees.
You want to become a chef.
Because I'm learning how to cook.
Okay, that's good. Wonderful. Like to cook, that's wonderful. What else? Anybody else? Yes.
Engineering.
Engineering. Okay. So you have to go more specific. Okay. So in engineering, you have to choose to focus on one aspect of engineering. So whatever you want to choose, think about it and give that 10,000 hours and you will really become an expert at it. I travel a lot. And because I travel a lot, I'm not sitting in one place. I'm in trains sometimes, I'm in flights sometimes, I'm in buses sometimes, I'm sitting in airports many times. You know? I mean, I probably can get a permanent membership to many airports, you know, around the world. So what I realized in my personal life is that if I don't learn to focus, I will be all over the place, but I'll achieve nothing. So then what I started doing was, I started developing these. What I'm telling you is what I've been doing myself. I've started telling myself, now I want to focus. And when I tell myself, now I want to focus, I keep aside everything and just get in. How many of you all have read my books? Please put up your hands. Any of my books? Just, okay. Many of the books that I have written them in trains. Half of the Ramayana first volume has been written in trains. A lot of my books I have written in airports. A lot of my books I have written in flights. So now people ask me, when do you write your books? I write all the time. But I write in small chunks. I spend 5 or 10 minutes writing. But in that 5 to 10 minutes, I really focus and I write. So it is possible if we really pull our minds and focus on that one thing. Okay? I want to tell you all a very interesting story, a very interesting experience that I've had many years back. I was once visiting an engineering college in Goa, known as BITS Pilani. It's a very famous engineering college. And to get into that college, it really requires a lot of intelligence and clearing some exams, etc. So I was interacting with the boys in that college. And they were telling me, so I asked them, what do you all do during your free times? They said, we play video games. And they said, we play networking games. So that means, all these boys, they are all in their own rooms, 10, 15 of them, each one in their own rooms. And they're all playing a game together on, Wi-Fi network. And I asked them, how long do you play? They said, 8 hours. I was shocked. I said, 8 hours? I asked them, why do you all play for 8 hours? And why do you all play this game? And they looked at me as if I'm, asking the most stupid question in the world. He said, what do you mean by why? You ask us how. We'll tell you how to play the game, Nobody ever asked us why to play the game. And then, a few years back when I came to America, I was visiting one devotee's house. And that day, a young boy who was studying in a college came back home for his holidays. And his father got him a brand new PlayStation game. And he got this game known as God of War. Is that the name? Is that the name? Anybody knows the name of the game? God of War or something like that. It's a Norwegian game. And this boy, he was so excited that I have come, but also he was so excited that the game has come. So he didn't know whom to focus on. So you know what he did? He pulled me and made me sit along with him. He said, he'll get best of both the worlds together. And then he was telling me everything about that game, in detailed, the story of that boy who is going to find his father, and very detailed, storyline of the game. And then he started playing the game. Obviously, I sat for some time and then I realized I don't have any role over here. So I told him I'm going, to my room. I went and started doing my work. I came back, so I reached their house at about 11 o'clock in the morning. I came back down at about 1 o'clock for lunch. He was there sitting and playing that game, He had made himself very comfortable. He had a huge screen in front of him, the large screen, and he had a sofa, and he had his leg, spread out, and he had a blanket over his leg, and he was sitting with the joystick and playing wonderfully. He joined me for lunch, and we had lunch, and then I went back to my room. This fellow went back to playing. I came back down at about 5:30 or something like that to go to a program. He was sitting there and playing. I went, did my program, came back at about 11 o'clock in the night. He was still sitting there and playing. And then I went back to sleep, I came back down from Mangalarti. He was still sitting there and playing. I said, this guy has achieved samadhi. What the sadhus in the Himalayas are trying to achieve, this guy has actually achieved. Because he didn't get up at all. Not even his posture changed. Exactly in the same posture, with the same bedsheet over him. I was amazed. I actually wanted to do Dandavat Pranam to him, I would never be able to do anything like that. So, the point I'm trying to tell you all is, the human body is capable of doing a lot. The human body is capable of focusing a lot. The human mind and the human body are amazing, provided you have interest in it, in whatever you want to focus on. If you don't have interest, you won't be able to focus on for 5 minutes also. But if you have interest, even 10 hours, 20 hours, you focus constantly, you will not lose interest and you will be able to actually focus. And that depends on you. One time I was having a Bhakti Shastri exam and I was supposed to, this is like 15 years, 17, 18 years back. And I was supposed to answer an exam of Bhagavad Gita the next day. And I didn't really have much time to prepare and all that. And I decided I'm really going to sit and intensely focus. That day, 24 hours, I read the entire Gita, cover to cover, practically. Not a moment I got up. I just had in one place, 24 hours, I read. I have never been able to do that after that. Never ever. But I had a particular purpose and a particular focus and I had decided mentally, I'm not going to get up till I finish, studying the whole Gita. And my body actually cooperated. My body and mind actually cooperated. The reason most of us lose focus is we have not taken a sankalpa. In Sanskrit, there is a word called sankalpa. You know what is the meaning of the word sankalpa? The word sankalpa means a determined vow. That's what the word sankalpa means. So whenever you sit to study, learn to make some sankalpas. Sankalpa is a promise to yourself. Sankalpa is not a promise to the world. It's a promise to yourself. Just take a sankalpa that for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, for half an hour, whatever amount of time you choose, you think that you can focus. You will not get distracted by anything else. And then sit and focus. You will see amazing results. So you can try it out yourself. Without sankalpa and without taking a determined vow, if you sit and study 1 chapter or 2 chapters, whatever, it will take you 3 hours to finish that. And with sankalpa and really determined sankalpa, you sit and study, you will finish the same thing in half an hour. Do you realize that just before exams, you suddenly develop superpowers? Have you all seen that? Where do these superpowers come from? These superpowers come simply because you understand there is a time bound. You know that it's time bound. The mind is powerful. If you put it in a box, it will really, give you the best results. But if you don't put it in a box and you just let it go, it will be chaotic. Total chaos. You understand? So please try this technique. Half an hour with sankalpa, study. And then you study some other time without sankalpa. You will see a major difference between the two. Anyone who has achieved any level of greatness, study the life of Arjun, you study the life of any of the great personalities who have achieved some really fantastic things in their life, they have been focused. Very intensely focused. So I highly, highly recommend all of you, if you want to stand out of the crowd, the one thing that you can do is to learn to practice, and second is to create an environment which allows you to focus. So if you want to practice, but you don't have the right environment, you will not be able to practice. But if you have the right environment and you do not practice, the right environment becomes useless. So you need the combination of both. You need the right environment, and at the same time, you need to practice. And the combination of the two is deadly. It will give you great results. As I was talking about the human mind, the mind's capacity expands with time. That means if you are able to focus for 20 minutes today, tomorrow you can focus for 21 minutes. Because the mind's capacity expands. So that means the more you practice something, your ability to stay focused for a little longer duration of time will increase. Like if you sit and chant very attentively for 15 minutes one day, next day you'll be able to do 16 minutes. The day after that you'll be able to do 17 minutes. You'll be able to, the capacity of the mind expands. Provided you are sincerely doing it. So, every single day, try to monitor how your mind functions. See, there are many people who live in the stage of unawareness. Unawareness means they don't know only what is happening inside. Mind is telling them, do this, they'll do this. Mind is telling them, do that, they'll do that. Completely uncontrolled mind. A chaotic mind. So if you have a chaotic, uncontrolled mind, you can't achieve anything in your life. Rest assured. But if you have a focused and controlled mind, you can achieve a lot in your life. Just give you a little glimpse of what I have done in the last 5 years. Just to help you understand how much you can achieve if you really decide to focus. In the last 5 years, I completed a PhD. In the last 5 years, I completed an MA in psychology simultaneously. I've written at least about 15 books in the last 5 years. In the last 5 years, I have at least given maybe 2,000 or 3,000 lectures around the world, traveling extensively. In the last 5 years, I've been managing a very large community, almost 2,000, 3,000 devotees in Goa. And I've been doing many other things. I've developed a valid education curriculum from 1st to 10th standard in the last 5 years. All of this happened in the last 5 years. Now you might say, how is this possible? It is possible, provided you're aware of every minute of your life. Krishna, in the Gita, he says, Kalosmi Bharata Sharma. Krishna says, I am time. And you know what the most amazing thing about time is? And I really want all of you all to understand this. The most amazing thing about time is, time expands. Everyone has 24 hours only. But how different people experience 24 hours is different. I had a friend of mine who would sleep for 22 hours. Out of 24 hours, he would sleep for 22 hours constantly. That was the way he used his time. So now the question that all of you have to ask yourself is, do I really want to learn how to control and master time? And if you learn this one art of managing your time well, this one single art of managing your time well will serve you all your life. The most successful people in life are those people who have simply learned to respect time. If you respect time, time respects you. If you don't respect time, time will not respect you. So please, learn to value time that you have. Whatever you're doing, do it nicely. You're spending time with your parents? Spend nice time with your parents. Those 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever interactions you're having, have good, fun, good quality interactions. Don't do other things while you're doing that. If you are talking to your friends, spend good quality time talking to them. Don't do other things while you're talking to them. That means give them exclusive 100% attention. You know what we end up doing? We're talking to one friend and simultaneously we're chatting with some other friend. Neither this person is happy nor this person is happy. Because you're not focused on anyone. Or, to another extent, for example, you are trying to have some fun play a game or anything like that. But while you're playing that game, your mind is constantly worrying about an exam that is coming up. So what is happening is you're neither here nor there. So spend times, whatever amount of time you spend, and spend good quality time. And that way time expands. So you learn this one art of managing time, you will actually achieve a lot in your lives. So I really hope and pray that whatever I shared with you all today will help you all think a little bit. Obviously, I'm not saying that I've taught you all time management completely. Time management itself is an ocean, But at least I gave you all some thoughts to think about. And hopefully, even if you implement some of these thoughts, it will really help you in your life. Get yourself a stopwatch. So when you say that you want to focus for 25 minutes, keep a stopwatch and stick to that time. 25 minutes exactly stop. And take a break. When you take a 5 minutes break, after the 5 minutes break, exactly 5 minutes later start again. So the more conscious you are of your time, the more you will find time expanding. And as I said, time is Krishna. You value time, time will value you. You give attention 100% to whatever you're doing, that particular quality time that you spend, it will really bring you great results. Okay? I'll stop here. We can have some question answers and discussions. Anybody has anything to ask, say, please feel free to. Whatever I said, did it make sense to you all? Okay. Yes. You have a question? Oh, you said, okay. Is a question at the back.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'm just trying to break the ice, but it's also a question I have. So one of the thing is that it is really valuable to respect time, and we can achieve a lot. But sometimes what I've observed is we can become a taskmaster. I have a task, a goal, I have time bound, and I do it. At the same time, if we are not flexible to respect others, not following time, in the sense like, some people, maybe I follow time, but there's another person who is not so good at time management. So it can create some kind of offense, or we can be very rigid, and then just time, and then we can be also offensive towards others, and that can lead to another distraction. So I just wanted to know also this aspect of how to be flexible and handle others, not so much be time-oriented person.
See, you should always have a backup plan for yourself. So if somebody is not respecting time, and you reach on time and the other person is late, carry a book with you. So instead of you wasting that time, you do something meaningful in that time. When it comes to other people, you have to be flexible. You can't be rigid and you can't be heavy. But when it comes to yourself, you should definitely be focused and definitely be rigid, definitely be heavy. Because without discipline, you're not going to get anything in life. Discipline is the most important foundational principle of growth. Better to be heavy with yourself than to be loose. With others, you can be flexible. And if they don't respect your time, you always have a backup plan. So when I know that somebody is not going to reach on time, I carry a book with me. Or I carry some other work with me so that I use that time well. That's how we should balance when it comes to others.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna. So inevitably when we're in life, so we have to do things that we don't enjoy, right? So how do we bring ourselves to focus on those unpleasant things and just get them done? Because it can be very hard to bring ourselves to do that. For at least focus on them.
Can you repeat? Can you repeat?
So oftentimes there are things that we don't want to do, and we don't want to focus on, right?
Okay.
So how do we convince ourselves to do it and focus on them?
I'll tell you a very simple technique. It's a technique called eat the frog technique. What it says, this technique says, the thing that you hate the most, do it first. When you're eating a meal, there are many items in the meal, right? So usually we keep the sweet for the last. But there are some people who like to eat the sweet first. Isn't it? But if you eat it, it gets over. But you keep it in the end, right in the end, the last thing you eat is sweet. You remember it, isn't it? So, when you keep the most heavy, most difficult thing for the end, so usually the natural thing is that we do all the easy things first. And then the thing that we hate the most, we pick up. By the time we reach to the thing that you hate the most, your already energy is gone. Half your energy is gone. And then all the while, from the beginning till the point you reach that particular task, you are anxious about this task. Isn't it? Your mind is always in anxiety. I have to do that, I have to do that. But if you do this technique of eat the frog first only eat that frog, the most ugliest one. And you know what are frogs? Frogs are typically those things where you have to use your brains. So all those things where you have to use your brains, you don't like to do it at all. Isn't it? The things that you don't have to use your brains, you do it fast. Because you don't have to use your brains. But the thing that where you have to use your brains, which at least takes 1 hour, those are frogs. Things that you can do in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, those are not frogs. Those anyway you will manage. But the frogs are the heaviest and the most difficult things to do. Every day, you should eat at least 1 frog. If you eat 1 frog every day, you would have achieved a substantial amount of things in your life. The problem is that we say, I'll eat the frog tomorrow. And then you postpone it, keep postponing it till a point where you have no other option. So by the time you actually reach a point where there is no other option, it's either too late, or when you do it, you will not be able to do it with full focus because you're in a hurry. Then the quality of the work also is not so good. Understand? So when you use this technique, you eat the frog first, you start only with the most difficult task. Then after all, the rest of the day is fun. Okay? So I would highly recommend you to start eating the frog first, and eventually it will become a habit. Right now, the habit is to do the easiest things first and keep the frog for the later. But ideally, you should come to a point where you do the most difficult things first. Okay?
What if you're vegetarian?
Ha 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 ha. You can find vegetarian frogs to eat. I'll share with you all something interesting. Over the last 1 year, I've been spending time with about 60 kids, all of your age, between the age bracket of 13 to 20. And these are kids from all over the world. And for 1 full year, I've been teaching them things like this. All the skills that schools and colleges don't teach. And I'm purposely spending my time doing this with youngsters because I'm realizing that so many youngsters today, especially among our devotees, they know how to play Mridang Kartal well, they know how to sing well, they know how to do Kirtan well, but they don't know how to live their life well. The most important basic things of life, basic skills of life are missing and nobody teaches. No schools teach, no colleges teach, parents definitely don't have time to teach. So I really felt, because I met so many of these kids who kept coming and asking me the same questions again and again. So I felt, let me develop a whole course only for this. And for me personally, especially for all those who are parents here, it has been a really satisfying experience. Every week, 1 hour I'm spending with these 60 kids. And most of when I began the course, I was a little apprehensive whether these young teenagers will actually attend, such a long 1 year duration course. But I'm happy to tell that till the last day, there were minimum. So I do with a batch of 30 kids only. I don't do 60 altogether. So I do 2 batches. The minimum 20 to 25 kids were there till the last day. So that means, I think what I shared with you all today, that's exactly what I've been sharing with these kids. And what I would recommend all of you is, whatever you heard today from me, please go and write it down. Write it down, especially the practical things that I told you all to do. And actually do it. Try it out for a week or 2 weeks. And I would be happy if you'll come back to me and tell me whether it works or didn't work, okay? I would love to hear from you all. You can connect with me on Instagram or anywhere else, wherever you find me. Okay? Thank you very much. Very, very happy to be with all of y'all. And all the very best for your journeys. I really pray that Krishna blesses you all and gives you all a lot of intelligence and focus. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Shubha Vilas Prabhu, for sharing your time and your wisdom. It's very, very valuable, and it comes to all of us actually. The youth and the child inside everyone needs to hear these things. So thank you so much for taking this time. And if any of you have more interest to connect, Prabhu is still giving programs in the next couple of days. Please ask your parents, or if you're already on the groups, you can also check them out, and you can definitely connect yourself with Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu, once again. So tomorrow's program is in San Jose. The details are Labangalapika Mataji's house. Yeah, so what time is the program, Prabhu? 7 p.m.? Yeah, so tomorrow's program, Prabhu is giving at 7 p.m. in San Jose. Thank you, Prabhu.